As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the tranquil waters of Lake Morwen, I settled onto the creaky wooden pier, my fishing gear scattered around me. The air was thick with the scent of pine and decay, an unsettling combination that sent shivers down my spine. Despite the unsettling atmosphere and the rumors that surrounded this lake, I was undeterred. I didn't believe in ghosts. I cast my line out into the still waters, the bait sinking below the surface with a gentle splash. The evening was peaceful, the only sound the occasional chirping of crickets and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. But beneath the surface, I couldn't shake the feeling that something lurked, watching me with unseen eyes. As the light faded and darkness settled over the lake, the forest around me grew darker, swallowing the sounds of the evening. A sense of unease crept into my mind, but I brushed it off, telling myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. I focused on my fishing, waiting patiently for a bite. Minutes turned into hours as I sat there in the darkness, the only illumination coming from the dim glow of my lantern. The silence of the lake became almost deafening, broken only by the occasional splash of a fish or the distant cry of a nocturnal bird. I began to feel a sense of isolation, as if I were the only living soul for miles around. Just when I was about to give up and call it a night, I felt a sudden tug on my line. My heart raced with excitement as I began to reel in my catch, but the thrill quickly turned to dread as I saw what emerged from the water. It was not a fish that greeted me, but a skeletal hand, its bony fingers wrapped around the hook. I stumbled back in horror, my mind struggling to comprehend what I was seeing. But before I could react, more hands began to emerge from the depths, reaching out to me with a desperate hunger. I scrambled to my feet, my heart pounding in my chest as I backed away from the edge of the pier. But no matter how far I ran, the hands continued to follow me, their ghostly forms illuminated by the pale moonlight. I was trapped, surrounded by the restless spirits of the lake. With nowhere left to run, I closed my eyes and prayed for salvation. But instead of the cold embrace of death, I felt something else. A presence, ancient and malevolent, lurking just beyond the edge of my consciousness. It whispered to me in a voice that chilled me to the bone, promising me untold horrors if only I would give in. I shook my head, refusing to surrender to the darkness that threatened to consume me. With a newfound determination, I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small vial of holy water. I had brought it with me as a precaution, never truly believing that I would need it. But now, faced with the true evil of Lake Morwen, I knew it was my only hope. With a trembling hand, I sprinkled the holy water into the air, watching as it sizzled and burned against the ghostly hands that surrounded me. The spirits recoiled, their ethereal forms writhing in agony as they retreated back into the depths of the lake. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, the echoes of my own heartbeat, the only sound in the darkness. But eventually, the silence was broken by the soft lapping of the water against the shore. The spirits were gone, banished back to whatever hellish realm they had come from. I collapsed to my knees, exhausted but alive. The night had been a nightmare unlike any I had ever experienced, but I had survived. And as the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon, I knew that I would never forget the horrors of Lake Morwen, nor the strength it had taken to overcome them.